Welcome to bongosikha. Today I am going to discuss about the concurrent list, because in my earlier discussion I have told that there are three lists between the center-state relationship when I was discussing that the union list, state list and the concurrent list. So now I am going to discuss about the concurrent list. The concurrent list or list 3, which consists of the 52 items as given the 7th schedule in the Constitution of India, it includes the powers considered to be shared by both the union government and the state government. The legislative section in India is divided into three units: union list, state list, and concurrent list. As I told right now, the beginning, the federal, unlike the federal governments of the United States, Australia, Switzerland, the residual powers rests with the union government, like that of the Canadian federal government. So this is the concurrent list in our country, the scenario of the concurrent list in our country. Now, what is important that uniformity is desirable in the concurrent list, but it is not essential on the items in the concurrent list. But if a law made by the state legislature, which is repugnant of the law made by the parliament, then the laws passed by the parliament either or before the laws passed by that state legislature, or the case as may be, the laws passed by the parliament shall prevail, and the law made by the state legislature, in that case, to the extent of the repugnancy, be void. So here is the meaning, repugnant meaning, যেটা অবমাননাকর, মানে যেটা এবং টু বি ভয়েড মিনস দ্যাট কার্যকরী আর হবে না, মানে যেই লটা স্টেট অ্যাপ্রুভ করেছে বা স্টেট ল, যেটা স্টেট লেজিসলেচার থেকে যেই লটা তৈরি হয়েছে, আইন প্রণোদিত হয়েছে, সেই আইন কার্যকর হবে না যদি এটা অবমাননাকর হয়, টু দ্য এক্সটেন্ট অফ দ্য লজ মেড বাই দ্য পার্লামেন্ট। সো সেই ধরনের ব্যাপারগুলো চলে আসে কনকারেন্ট লিস্টের আন্ডারে। Now I am going to discuss, as I told, that concurrent list consists of the 52 items. 47 are under the concurrent list, and 5 items are transferred subject, are considered as the transferred subjects. So here I am going to discuss that 52 subjects. What are those 52 subjects? One by one. So first comes the criminal law. So criminal law, including all the laws, all the matters included in the Indian Penal Code, IPC. So criminal law included all the matters which comes under the Indian Penal Code at the commencement of the Constitution, excluding the offences against the laws with respect to any of the items in the list 1 and list 2, and list 1 and list 2, and excluding the use of the naval forces, armed forces, air forces of the union, or any other armed forces, any sort of armed forces of the union, as the aid of the civil power, in aid of the civil power. So this is the criminal law. Next, criminal procedure. Criminal procedure includes all the matters included in the code of the criminal procedure in the commencement of the Constitution. Next, preventive detention. When I was discussing fundamental rights, then I have discussed about this, that preventive detention. What is the preventive detention? So the preventive detention, always the reasons which are connected with the security of the state, safety of the state, and services of the essential services and essential security to the public, maintenance of the public order. So in that ground, if anyone is a person subject to such detention, preventive detention, that any with respect to that ground, that preventive detention, if anyone is accused under the Preventive Detention Act, so that will come under the concurrent list. Then what is that removal of from one state to another state of prisoners, another state, accused persons and other persons, those who are subjected under the preventive detention for reasons specified in entry 3 of this list, entry 3 of this list. So this is another list. Next, marriage and divorce, next infants and minors, and adoption, wills, intestacy. Intestacy means, what is the meaning of the intestacy? You have to know. That means wills, intestacy and succession, joint family, partition, all matters come under this provision, that concurrent list. And here I want to tell you the meaning of the intestacy, that of a person not having made a will to die intestate, means of things not disposed of by will, her property remains intestate. So that is the meaning of the intestacy, means without having a will, it dies and property is almost the double of the outstanding debts. So that is the intestacy, the meaning of the intestacy. Next, transfer of any property other than agricultural land, registration of deeds and documents. Next, contracts including partnership, agency, contracts of carriage and other special forms of contracts, but not including the contracts relating to agricultural land. So contracts may include partnership, contracts may include agency, contracts of carriage and several other forms of contract, but not in any case the contract of the agricultural land. This is point number 7, means list number 7 under concurrent list. So next, actionable wrongs, then insolvency, bankruptcy comes under. So insolvency meaning, again I am going to tell, insolvency meaning is a state of financial distress in which a business or person is unable to pay their bills. So this is the meaning of the insolvency. If you don't know the actual terminology of this political science, so it will be difficult for you to get the meaning. So that is why I am giving you the meaning, so that it will be helpful for you to get the subject in depth, to have a grasp of the subject. That meaning is a state of the insolvency meaning is a state of financial distress in which a business or a person is unable to pay their bills. Next, trust and trustees, administrators general and official trustees, point number 11. Next, under 11A, administration of justice, communication and organization of all courts except Supreme Court and High Court. So this is the another thing. Next, evidence and oaths. That if whenever there is any situation of the evidence and oaths, recognition of laws, judicial proceedings, public acts, so these all will come under the concurrent list. Evidence, oaths, recognition of laws, judicial proceedings, public acts, these all, everything. Next, point number 13, that civil procedure. Civil procedure including all the matters included in the code of the civil procedure in the commencement of the constitution, its limitation and its arbitration. Everything comes under list number 13. Next, number 14, contempt of court. মানে কোর্টের অবমাননা করা, কন্টেম্পট অফ কোর্ট বাট নট ইনক্লুডিং কন্টেম্পট অফ দ্য সুপ্রিম কোর্ট। সো সুপ্রিম কোর্টের ক্ষেত্রে কিন্তু এই ব্যাপারটা আওতায় আসছে না। সুতরাং কন্টেম্পট অফ কোর্ট মানে কোর্ট অবমাননা। দেন নোমাডিক অ্যান্ড মাইগ্রেটরি ট্রাইবস, ট্রাইবসদের যেসব স্ট্যাটিস্টিক্স রাখা, তাদের এগুলো কে পরিসংখ্যান রাখা, যে ব্যাপারগুলো সেগুলো কিন্তু আসছে কনকারেন্ট লিস্টের আন্ডারে। নেক্সট, লুনাসি অ্যান্ড মেন্টাল ডেফিসিয়েন্সি, মানে ইটস ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট টু গিভ সাপোর্ট, রিহ্যাবিলিটেশন ফর দ্য পিপল দোজ হু আর lunatics and mental deficients. So this list also come under the concurrent list, which you have to remember very carefully. And next, that there are some things that 17 under this A and B are there. First, that 17, that prevention of cruelty to animals, which nowadays we can see in the newspaper, we can whenever we hear the news over the channels, that there are in every nook and corner of the society almost human have become inhuman and they are torturing the animals. So it's the cruelty, prevention of the cruelty to animals. This will come under the concurrent list. Next, protection of wildlife, birds, protection of forests. This is 17A, protection of forest, and 17B, that is protection of the wildlife and birds. So, this is the under 17A and B, and 17 is the prevention of cruelty to animals. Next word, that 19, that next 18, or adulteration of foodstuffs and other goods. So this is another list, that adulteration of foodstuffs and other goods. Next 19, drugs and poisons, which is very important, subject to the provision of entry 59 of the list 1 with respect to the opium. Opium is dried latex. Opium is the dried latex, like poppy seed, type of things. So drugs and poisons. So all the drugs and poisons subject to the provision of the entry 59 of the list 1. Next, economic and social planning. Next, population control and family planning. 20. 20 is economic and social planning, and under 20 A, that is population control and family planning. Next, I am coming to list number 21. 21, what it tells, that commercial and industrial monopolies, trusts and combines. So these are the commercial, means under list 21. Next, 22, all sort of trade unions, labor disputes, industrial disputes. This 22, point number 22. 23, social security and social security and social insurance, employment and unemployment. So this is point number 23. So next, what I am going to tell, that welfare of the conditions of the labor. How? Welfare of the conditions of the labor, that by providing provident funds, maternity leave, employers' liability, employees' compensation, these all will come under the welfare of the labor. Means that how we can improve the work culture, how the labor, we can give the better facilities to the laborers, both the employer and the employees. So this is the very important list under a concordant list. Next, I am going to discuss that education, all sorts of technical education, medical education, and universities, subject to the provisions of entries 63, 64, 65, 66 of list 1. So these are very important, 63, 64, 65, 66 of list 1, vocational and technical training of labor, vocational and technical. Next, legal, medical, and other professions. So these will come under 26, point number 26 or list number 26, that legal, medical, and other professions. Next, that relief and rehabilitation of persons displaced from their original settlements, from their original residence, due to the occurrence of the dominion India and Pakistan on the partition, setting up of the dominions, and probably you know the meaning of the dominions, but still I am going to discuss that dominions, the land that a ruler or the government controls. Dominions, that ruler of the government controls, that is the dominions. Next, charities and charitable institutions, religious endowments, religious institutions, these are all. Next, prevention of extension or spreading of any contagious diseases or infectious diseases from one state to another. This is another important list under concurrent list. Next, vital statistics, having that including the registration of the births and as well as the deaths. Next, ports other than those declared by the laws of the parliament, existing laws or existing laws to be the major ports. Next important point what I am going to discuss, that is point number 32, that shipping and navigation on inland waterways. Inland as regards inland waterways means throughout the territory of India. That is the inland waterways. Shipping and navigation on inland waterways with respect to the mechanically propelled vehicles, and with the, including all the norms on that particular roads and on such waterways, and the carriages and passengers and goods on the inland waterways, subject to the provisions of the list 1. list 1 with respect to the national waterways. So all the mechanically propelled vehicles, carriages of goods, passengers on such inland waterways subject to the provisions of list 1 with respect to the national waterways. So this is very important point. Next, that trade and commerce in and the production, distribution and supply of the products of any industry, but the control of such industry by the union is declared by the parliament by law to be expedient in the public interest. And important and imported goods of the same kind as such products. So this is, and like products of the edible oils, oil seeds, oil cake after the extraction of the oil from the seed, which is used as a good cattle fodder. So these are next raw cotton, whether ginned or not, and the cotton seed, raw jute. So these all comes under 33, that trade and commerce in and the production and supply and distribution of the following products. What I am telling now. So next, weights and measures except establishment of standards. Weights and measures, this is point number 33, that weights and measures except establishment of standards. Next, 34, price control, which is very important. If question comes that price control comes under, definitely you have to answer the concurrent list, price control. Next, that mechanically propelled vehicles, including the principles on which the taxes on such vehicles is to be levied, are to be levied. So this is point number 35. Next, 36, factories, boilers, electricity, 36, 37 and 38. 36 factories, 37 boilers, 38 electricity. Now 39. So newspapers, books and printing presses. So this is the 39. Next, I am going to tell that number 40, archaeological sites and the remaining sites which has been declared by the parliament to be of national importance, and other remains, means archaeological sites and other remains archaeological importance which has been declared by the parliament is of national importance. Custody, management and disposal of property, including agricultural land, what I was discussing in the point number 6, that transfer of property other than agricultural land. But here that custody, management and disposal of property including agricultural land, মানে এক্ষেত্রে কিন্তু agricultural landটাকে include করা হচ্ছে, declared by the law to be evacue property. So that is the difference between these 2 points, so which you have to remember very carefully, what I told earlier and what is now. Next, acquisition and requisitioning of property. What is the meaning of acquisition? The act of obtaining or buying something, that is acquisition. যে আমরা কিছু acquisition করলাম, that is হচ্ছে acquisition. And requisitioning হচ্ছে demand the use or supply of something by official order. মানে আমরা অর্ডার প্লেস করলাম যে আমাদের এই জিনিসগুলো দরকার, সেটা হচ্ছে requisition রাখছি. So demand the use or supplying of something by official order. So this is requisitioning. So acquisition and requisition of property, that comes under list 42, okay, of the concurrent list. Next, 43. So what is that point number 43? That's recovery in a state of claims, okay, in a state of claims in respect of taxes and other public demands, including areas of land, revenue and sums recoverable, and as such areas arising outside the arising outside. So this is that recovery in a state of the claims in respect of the taxes and other public demands. So this comes under point number 43. Next, I am going to discuss stamp duties other than the duties or fees collected by means of the judicial stamps. Stamp duties other than the duties collected by the means of the judicial stamps, but not including the rates of the stamp duty. Next, enquiries and statistics. Enquiries and statistics for the purposes of any matters specified in list 2 and list 3. either in list 2 or list 3. Next, jurisdiction and powers of all courts except the Supreme Court. Jurisdiction and powers means whatever the entire jurisdiction, the entire domain of the powers of all courts except Supreme Court, শুধুমাত্র সুপ্রিম কোর্টকে বাদ দিয়ে বা সুপ্রিম কোর্ট হচ্ছে ব্যতিক্রম, with respect to any of the matters in this list. সো এটা হচ্ছে jurisdiction এবং powers of all courts কিন্তু এর আন্ডারেই আসছে, শুধুমাত্র সুপ্রিম কোর্টই বাদ যাচ্ছে. Fees in respect of any of the matters in this list but not including the fees which is collected in the court. So fees, all types of fees will come and matters in this list but not including the fees which is collected in the courts. I told that 47 items and 5 are transferred subjects, means from state list they have been transferred to the concurrent list by the 42nd Amendment 1976. So what are those 5 subjects? Those 5 subjects are education, forests, protection of wildlife and birds, weights and measures, administration of justice. So education, forests, weights and measures, protection of wildlife and birds, and administration of justice. So this is about the concurrent list. Okay, so every point is very important, that all the 52 items you have to remember very carefully, and a concurrent list or list 3. Sometimes the question may come that list 3. List 3 means you automatically have to recognize that it is concurrent list. So that particular item will come under the concurrent list. So 7th schedule, it is included. This is all about concurrent list. Thank you.